know. But we have a really good matchup next. Cosmic Energy and Juanpaa. Juanpaa has won our monthly before. And Cosmic is another strong player from Mexico. I don't think we watched them play yet today, so I'm really excited to get an opportunity to do so. So I anticipate this one, potentially Cosmic having the ability to take some games off Juanpaa. So we're tuning into that now. So, like I said before, Juanpaa's won. He's probably both him and Rudolph have kind of established themselves as just the tier above everybody else. But Cosmic is somebody who's knocking on that door and has the opportunity to probably take some games, take some rounds for sure. I think from my general playing with Cosmic in the past, somebody who like really loves to go for those big combos. They kind of live or die by those like long strings. One thing I've tried to start doing against some of these top players with these stronger characters, and you might see it here, is sending a big combo first. So you have for those of you who are unaware how the trash kind of works in Magical Drop, each character has like a predefined table of what trash or what pattern they will drop. And then based on how long your combo is, there's like a percentage chance that they pull from the harder to deal with table, the table that has all the ice and all of the more complicated stuff in it, than they would from their easier table. And if you send a big combo and you get like a nice pattern that has the ice trash in it that makes it harder to deal with, you can then follow it up with 2 or 3 of the quick like 2-chain combos, which really pushes down the board, but they're still dealing with the ice at the top, so they don't have the opportunity to kind of clear the easier patterns that are stuck behind or underneath the ice. So I've only been using it in practice, really. I didn't have the opportunity to do that against Rudolph in those games, but if I play Cosmic later, that's kind of my strategy. But he's got the lead in this game, so we'll see if he can take the game from Juanpaa and get the early lead. You have to deal with that blue, but they're on top of it. Nice! Ooh, okay. Cosmic up 1-0. Good start for them. That was a close one on quota. One thing that I've kind of talked about with these top players as well, Rudolph especially, and I think Juanpaa as well, is that when they practice against players, because people want a chance to like take games off them and make it feel close, they will pick characters like Strength against them more often. So they just have a lot of familiar. Wow, I'm going to totally botch that word. They're very familiar with the pattern that Strength drops, and have the ability to kind of handle it a little easier than most players would. So they feel more comfortable picking a character like Strength, even against another strong player. Because to them it's less of a coin flip. They feel like they know or have a strategy for how to deal with the trash that they're going to have to face. think one of the cool things too about now that we've had a few of these tournaments, more players are playing friendlies similar to like the rule set that we use for tournament, right? So a lot of the times in the past, before we started having these monthly events, there weren't too many mirror matches being played. A lot of people would just pick the character that they felt most familiar with, or the one that they thought gave them the best chance to win. And now if you play players who are online who participate in these events, generally everybody will kind of just like start Magician and then play mirror matches from there, just like as a sign of respect, or just it's easier to do than having to worry about like the social aspect of like counter picking one another or picking characters in different tiers and feeling good about it. So it's been a nice change. Okay. And so they got that crystal break. Let's see how they use it. Okay, so Juanpaa ties it back up. But again, Cosmic's going to have the counter pick advantage, so if they can use it wisely, they might have the opportunity to take this set. Okay, so they go to Hierophant, who again is like a mirror of Magician, so trying to recapture that initial magic that they had the first game. You can see how well these players on both sides utilize like the float time you get for the balls. So if you're waiting for something to break, you could throw another ball on top of it, and it'll kind of hang there for a moment. And while that ball is kind of floating in the air, your combo will keep going, and you'll have time for you to kind of move other things around. So they'll use that float time to reorganize their screen. Which is pretty handy. I see somebody in the chat asking how we started Magician Game 1. It was initially, I got the rules from the French scene, and they use Emperor Game 1, but I think Emperor's got a pretty strong pattern, and the Magician's a little bit more fair for our players. He's also the first tarot card in the deck, so all of the major arcana in a tarot deck is numbered, and Magician's number 1. So it just felt fitting to use them as the first character. I know other scenes will use other characters, but for us, Magician is that one. I've also heard of tournaments doing, like you use the actual tarot deck if the two players can't agree on a character, and you'll draw a card from the tarot deck from the major arcana, and you just play whichever character you draw from the deck, because all of the ones who are in the deck are in the game somewhere, whether they're hidden characters or what have you. I think that's cool. I would love to run a tournament. It'd probably have to be in person, just so you could have the physical deck that people draw from, but I think that's a really cool like element of luck that comes with it, where everybody is like having their fate decided by the magical tarot deck that the game is based on. Okay, so Juanpaa was able to adjust there after losing the first game of Magician, taking the third one on Hierophant despite the same pattern being there. So Cosmic's now lost the counter pick advantage, which is rough. They're going to go with Moon, one of the secret characters. So for most of our players, or anybody who doesn't know, most of the secret characters outside of like Hangman have a very similar pattern where they pressure the two opposite ends of the board. And these players like Cosmic and Rudolph and Juanpaa generally have a good time with these characters because they use that mash movement to move laterally really quickly, and it'll give them the time they need to kind of deal with both sides of the board in a way that players who are kind of trying to manually input every movement won't be able to. Again, you could watch, I'm watching Cosmic side right now, but you can see them really utilizing that float timing to save themselves as they reorganize their board. Interesting to see secret characters going to quota. Generally, most people would get pushed off the board by them. Just kind of a testament to how strong these players are. So if you're not aware, there's actually a new Magical Drop game that is apparently in development. So Magical Drop 3, obviously the third one. There's a fourth game called Magical Drop F, and then they made Magical Drop 5 for like PC and some other consoles at some point. And it was kind of like farmed out to another company, and it came out like really bad. Like we try not to talk about it bad. But now they're making Magical Drop 6. The company that seems to be building it's a little bit more reputable. So interesting to see how that goes. And one thing I'd really like to see in those games is like, I'd like the trash should still function the way it does in this game and like the previous Magical Drop games, where there's no way to block your opponent's trash. And Juanpaa's going to clean that up 3-1. So Cosmic took the game, but Juanpaa able to kind of recover from there. What I was going to say is it'd be nice to see in the future like an indicator at the top of the screen as to how much trash is coming. So again, no way to block that trash because I think that's just a magical drop. It like helps make the game what it is. But just having an indicator of how much trash is built up would be really handy to have for the future.